Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. We are doing a post-match review. Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. I hope you enjoyed the game. I didn't. I hope you enjoyed the watch along with Mr. B and TalkMU. It wasn't the best of games, I don't think, but we're going to go into that right now. Welcome. I want to say hi to Pat. How you doing, Pat?
Did you enjoy that? Yourself? I did and I didn't.
It's kind of yeah. We knew we were going to win, but it just took time, especially in the first half, to grind it out. Paddy, how you doing, man? Are you excited about that, or?
Oh God, it was like trying to breaking them down was difficult, but it was boring. But we played okay. We got the result, I suppose, in the end, didn't we? But they were dreadful, to be fair. But it was hard work, wasn't it? Very hard work.
Yeah. We're going to get onto the game now. Before we do, just want to announce that our sponsor is here. It's GMS Global Mapping Surveys, and they are assisting architects, property developers, and construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, and monitoring. The link is in the description. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the starting lineup, guys. Today, we started with the Gehring goal. Still no Dubravka. Pat, what's going on with this guy? Why do we sign this guy on loan if he's not going to play even a game against this Sharif team, who clearly aren't that good?
It's strange because you're saying to yourself, I understand Erik ten Hag wants to play his strongest team all the time, but surely to God, like, he probably had to go out onto the pitch tonight to hold David De Gea up to keep him awake on that pitch because he had so little to do. So why not give the fella a chance to play him? So it's a bit of a strange one. It must be. Is he trying to train David De Gea in? I don't know.
Is he fit though, Paddy? Do you think Dubravka? I've heard he was back from injury, but do you agree? Would you play him in a game like this?
Yeah, I would, because I don't think. Then obviously, yeah, I would have done. To be fair, I'd give De Gea a bit of a rest, but obviously he feels maybe that he's not right, and he's played De Gea. So it's interesting. Obviously, he doesn't rate him.
Just looking through the back four, Paddy, we've got like Malacia. He returned today, and this is a guy who started the season, and we were all raving about him. Had a little bit of a few games out, and he's returned today in the Europa League. So, do you think he's down the pecking order now? Do you think Shaw is outshining him?
I don't think static Shaw for me. No way. I hope not. I hope he's not overshining him. I'll tell you that now, because Shaw is assured, isn't he? When he comes on, he roams around, doesn't he? His socks roll down, knocks it about. He can with this side, but Malacia is still taking his time, I think, to find himself a little bit. But it's going to take time for Malacia, really do. But he's still quick, he's still learning, so he's going to play Shaw still. So yeah, that is the issue, unfortunately, these two at the moment. Malacia's got it. Step up, I suppose. He's young. He's just finding his feet in the Premier League. It's hard for players when they come, isn't it? It takes some time to bed in.
I mean, we can evaluate these players now. It's been like 10, 15 games in the season. Pat, how do you compare the two, Shaw and Malacia? Because we've seen both of them now play.
With the current form that Luke Shaw is in, I'm not too upset to have him in our starting lineup. Is he good to have in there while Malacia beds into the squad, gets a bit more experience, and matures a little bit as well, because he's only a young lad? I'm happy with what we have. With the opposite side of the flank with Dalot, need to have somebody in there to be chomping on his heels and trying to get in there and making him work a bit harder. But with Luke Shaw and Malacia, I'm happy with the way it is at the moment.
Okay, got Bath time here saying Shaw is levels above Malacia for me. He generally looks like elite athlete, elite left back again. And talking about the right back, we've only got one real right back.
Hopefully stays at that now for a bit more consistency, Omundi.
I wouldn't call him elite left back though. I wouldn't call him. People should call him world class left back and elite. I wouldn't call him elite though. Though, but then
he's working a lot harder at Pat than last year, you know. So we have to give him a bit of props.
And we're here to Bath time saying huge moves to drag Paddy on for another Delo masterclass. Bath time was saying telling about the skill set needed in the interior of midfield, Omundi, when they invert, and how Shaw is far superior in that area. If you have to watch the eye test for that. Want to say hi to Mo. How you doing, man? Said big up the panel. Garnacho was great tonight. It says breath of fresh air. Sancho should be worried now. We're going to come on to that, so stay with us. We will talk about these issues. Emma's saying, what did I say about Rashford and his big heads? I feel bad because I said he doesn't score headers. Barton said, can you name two better left backs in the league than Shaw at the moment, to Paddy? But let's go to the midfield. There's no real new guys in midfield. You had Eriksen starting with Casemiro in a sort of game like this. I thought maybe there's an opportunity for a youngster to come through. This is what I'm talking about. When you're picking the starting lineup, the manager is so determined to get win after win after win. And that showed with his lineup today. No risks with the midfield there. Bruno in the hole, and Anthony and Ronaldo and Garnacho. We're going to talk about Garnacho in a minute. So that's the starting lineup. Just quickly, do you think it was a brave decision to drop Garnacho in? That's his first actually start, isn't it?
Not at all. It was a brave. It was great to see him in there because he's a good young lad. I don't know what to say now because we're going to go to Garnacho as a full title.
Yeah, we will talk about it.
You know,
but that's the starting lineup. That is the starting lineup, guys.
Yeah, it wasn't brave. It was good.
Big G's here saying, "How you doing, fellas?" Global Mapping Survey saying, "Does Ronaldo start against West Ham?" After today's performance, we will discuss Ronaldo in a minute. Vincent, our Dutch correspondent, saying Donny showed a bit of what he did at Ajax. That will improve more and more, finding and creating space in tight areas. This is talent. Erik ten Hag will use that as an example to the rest of them. Donny crap, says Vincent.
Get out of a bad time. It wasn't that bad.
Casemiro, as in class, says Mo. Yeah. And finally, loving the hat, says Big G. Yes.
I like it.
Profiling, you know how it goes. Anyway, let's move on because look, we're up against a team today who just sat there and played a total 7 or 8 man back line almost at certain times. The first half was a bit difficult. I was expecting us today to really work on our moves and find a way to break them down, whether it's like play triangles, quick, sharp passing, to try and get in behind them if we could, whipping crosses in maybe, just try different strategies to break them down. And I was a bit frustrated in the first half. So, Paddy, how do you break down a team like this? Is come here today, basically with no manager or a manager resigned at the weekend, sitting back, 7 man in midfield, 7 man in defence. What would you do to break a team down like this? Because we ended up scoring a set piece for the first goal.
That's a good question, man. I don't know how you do it, but they did park the bus, to be fair, didn't they? I mean, it's really difficult for Anthony to get past there for the especially Eriksen tried his best all not to try and incite those passes into the play. He just couldn't. We just couldn't get it going the first half because of how they set themselves up. Very difficult Monday. Very difficult indeed. We just didn't get that space that what we got the weekend. We just didn't. It was just hard, mate. Very difficult. They did well. It's boring, though, isn't it? It is boring.
I know. We're kind of learning as a team, but I think someone like Man City or maybe even Arsenal would probably score a pile of goals against them, even if they did play a 7 man back line as well. What do you think, Pat, about that?
Yeah, look, the way they set up what it looked like they played like a 4-5-1, where the 5 man midfield were just waiting for like a counter attack or a break, and they'd go into a 4-3-3. But they never really got an opportunity to do that. And even with your man Rashid Akambi, he ended up in air half for 90% of the game, and that other chap was left up front by himself. So, like, I was looking at it and I was thinking, like, Eriksen was the man for us tonight, and I was praying for him to get that killer ball into the box for that goal. But look, it didn't come off for us as well as he wanted to. There's a couple of wasted chances in that first half, but it's very hard to play against such a compact team. Even when we could see at times somebody would pick up the ball on the outside of the box, there were 6 or 7 players standing in front of him, and I'm not including the goalkeeper. Yeah.
The one time, I must say, where we moved the ball quite quickly, Eriksen played a pinging pass from right to left, and it went to Garnacho. Garnacho had time to face up his man, run at him, and got into this almost 6-yard box, and we had created a chance from that. And that I thought that was impressive. But it's like switching the play, so they have to shuffle over. Otherwise, they're just sitting there all day, and there's always got numbers there. So I think we do need to improve as a team, being sharper and have more strategies to break teams down. As Bath Time was saying, maybe 3rd man runs or triangles or just quick movement and give and go, that kind of thing. Because they really didn't want to get out of their box. They were really stuck in there. So I'm a bit disappointed. I expected a bit better in that respect about trying to break team down like that today, who strictly came just to not to concede goals, it seemed, in my opinion. Anyway, let's get on to more exciting stuff. And let's talk about Garnacho, because obviously first start today seemed like the whole of the crowd were excited about him. They were buzzed about him. A lot of talk about Garnacho. People are saying about, there's been on the Man United agenda, for example, people said our wide men, Anthony and maybe Sancho, don't really take people on enough. And they like to see Garnacho because he's sort of in that spirit of Man United. He likes to drive at people. So let's talk Garnacho. Start with you, Paddy, because I think you're one of these culprits, aren't you, for saying that our wide men aren't really driving at people, not doing the Steve Coppell sort of thing. What do you think of Garnacho?
Or Gordon Hill, I agree. I mean, I just seen Big G say about start crossing the ball from the byline. They comment, I think quite rightly we could have broken them down if it happened. I think he did well, Garnacho, but a couple of times then he stopped. We get into the line, then knocked it back, and it was mentioned by the lads on the Watchalong. I don't understand that at all. And then one of the commentators on tonight was saying, why doesn't he go when he goes down, go across and knock it across? Anthony did well tonight, didn't do enough of that. I suppose you're correct, but not seeing enough of that. But the lad will learn. He will learn, Garnacho. But his stats tonight were fantastic. But I just want to see our wingers. And I know Bath Tom will pipe up and go, our wingers don't play that way anymore, Paddy. I'm sure that they still do. You know what I mean? They still do. There's not much of a difference from the past to now. Wingers are wingers in my. I bet you'll agree with me, Monday. I just don't know why he didn't do that, but give him time. He will do that. Garnacho, or a good winger. Sancho, I don't think he'll do. You know.
Are you impressed with Garnacho? I mean, because this is one for the future, isn't he? But I'm impressed when I see him play.
He was exciting, and we all were excited to see him on the card today. He's a good young talent. What we liked from him today was he was exciting. When he got the ball, he picked it up. He was direct. He went at them. He's young. Yeah, he's unpolished. Yes, he hasn't played with Malacia before. And they were trying a few things, running by each other. You can see they were a bit unsure of each other. But that will come in time when they play together. I thought he was excellent tonight. He done a few step overs. He got a few crosses in. He's young. He's exciting. And that's what we want to see. And that's what was getting United fans on the edge of their seat tonight, was when he was going down that byline trying to cross in the ball. What else I did like tonight, it was a bit of an Argentina effect tonight. Martinez was playing that ball through the middle, and I think he was deliberately looking for Garnacho, trying to get that ball to his feet. Once or twice he got the ball to his feet. He came in, he crossed it in. One of them he gave to Ronaldo, which Ronaldo wasn't the greatest on the end of it. There was one or two of them he came in, he played it to Malacia. Malacia got a shot off. All in all, I think he played well, lads.
Guys, look, we've asked the question, how do you break down a low block? And we're also talking about Garnacho. So I want to get the response from the people in the comments. Bath Time saying, I can't believe we just didn't spam long shots and tee up volleys from 30 yards at them. Big G saying, one suggestion, start crossing the ball from the byline instead of cutting in all the time. It gets too congested when teams park the bus. I noticed that today with Garnacho. He'd go cutting in his right foot, and then he was running. There's a wall of players in front of him. So maybe you have to look at a different option. Percentages, isn't it, says Bath Time. He was making space for Ericsson to get into the half space. Now, everyone's talking about crossing from the byline, but it seems like the half space is where it happens. Bruno crossed from the half space today for the third goal for Ronaldo. Big G said it was definitely Erik ten Hag's tactical decision not to do that. Talking about the winger. Mo's saying Garnacho is our star boy. Still raw, but he's growing. I trust Erik ten Hag will integrate him slowly into the team. So he's excited about him. Bartho says it's just modern football. No top teams cross from the byline for a reason. Emma's saying he's actually improved since pre-season, which is promising. And Vincent is saying long passes into the box for low blocks is not really the Erik ten Hag way or the Ajax way. Intricate play and passing with overloads in the box is more reliable for control. So that's how you break down a low block in the Ajax fashion, you know. And Big G is saying yes, but sometimes you have to adapt to the situation. Think outside the box. Stuart Marshall saying great to see Harry back. I know you're trying to get me to bite. We will come on to that, guys. And we'll say hi to Glory Man United. Hello from Spain. How you doing? Hola, hola. Is it hola? You say in Spanish? United, the best club in the world. And Maguire, I thought, was very effective tonight. We will come on to that. And I do agree. Yeah. So Garnacho, we're all happy with Garnacho. Let's move on. Let's talk about the returning players today. And then we start going through all the players today. 11 in the chat. Make sure you press the like button, guys. So who was returning today, Pat? Who you want to pick out a player that you want to talk about?
Well, we Ronaldo, Malacia, Garnacho. Well, Garnacho wasn't returning, but he started in the lineup, and we had Victor returning tonight. I thought Victor played well. He didn't have a lot to do. He done well when he had to do it. I thought Malacia played well. He's not as good as Shaw is currently playing his performance. But Ronaldo was in there. He was returning as a star striker. I thought he was a bit off the pace. He was in the wrong place for the ball coming in a couple of times. He was cut offside. He was a bit unsharp for a couple of shots, but look, he got the goal in the end, and that's what you want from the striker, is to get the goals. He mightn't have been 100% for the whole game, but he got what he wanted in the end. So I thought all round the four lads played well.
So you talk about Ronaldo. You earlier said about Argentina connection. Martinez trying to pick out Garnacho, trying to set him up. Bruno, do you think some of the players like Portuguese Bruno and Portuguese speaking Anthony are doing the same for Ronaldo? It seems like, Paddy, everyone wants Ronaldo to score, the whole stadium. And how do you feel about that? After the week he's had, a lot of fans would sort of turn against him, but it's like they were urging him to score a goal, even take the free kicks.
I think Amanda, I was thinking about this tonight when he turns to the Stretford end. There's massive things for Ronaldo from the fans at United. Again, look, we're going for the past, aren't we, Ronaldo? He'll always have that connection with United, and regardless of what has gone on, there's a big, huge love for him, regardless of what he's done. But I knew he'd play tonight. I don't know why, because of what's gone on in the past. With what's gone on, it was set up for Ten Hag to go, do you know what, Ronaldo? I'm going to give you a game tonight, mate. I don't know why, because a lot of heat. He took the heat out of the situation at Ten Hag, didn't he? Played him and said, yeah, I'm playing tonight, mate. So it means it takes all the pressure off. And Ronaldo seemed a bit happier tonight, I think. But yeah, good to he played. But I get what Pat's saying though about the average. He's going to get the goal eventually. He was probing, but not the greatest. But I also feel he's not the same Ronaldo. Is he coming? Is he going out the?
He's just not a sharp. He's not a sharp, lads. That's the problem. He's off the pace. I don't know if he's going to get better, or he's just going to take more game time. But at the moment, he's not playing as well as we'd like him to play.
Yeah. But would you guys know? We've seen Ronaldo today against a team that's not very good. Does Ronaldo get a start in the Premiership? I mean, based on what we've seen, we can assess it now. We can have a judgment. Come on, guys.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will, Pat.
What do you think? I think the manager might not play him. But would you play him based on what you're seeing?
No.
My answer is no.
No.
Okay. What about the guys in the comments? Based on what you see from Ronaldo today, guys, in the comments, would you play him? Would he be starting in the Premiership for you?
In the next game, the answer would be no.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Vincent's here saying, of course, the new Erik ten Hag way will be the Man United way. So a hybrid sort of mixture of Ajax football and English football. So it'll be a mix of tactics, long passes, and play in the box. And Mr. B, how you doing, Mr. B? He says Ronaldo won't start in the Prem. So that's the talk here. Can we talk about Harry Maguire? Now, he's been off injured for a while. He returned today, and obviously it's not a real test. He didn't have much to do. No one was pressing him. No one was putting under pressure. He wasn't on the back foot at all. But he did spray a few good passes. He intercepted a couple times, and he's good at ball carrying as well. You glad to see him back, Pat?
He done all right, yeah. Like, he done as well as he could do. He played one hospital ball across the back to Luke Shaw, but you have to expect that from a fella who's only back after being out for a while. Other than that, look, for what he had to do, it wasn't a real test, but he done well for what he had to do.
Paddy, over to you. I'm dreading this. What did you think of Maguire returning today? Come on, let me have it.
Well, yeah, look, mate, I don't rate him at United. Don't know why he's still there. Need to get rid at some point of him. But with injuries, he's going to have to play. But as Pat said, there's no test for Maguire tonight. It's probably an easy start for him, but I'm not getting carried away with it. No way, man. Sorry, that ship has sailed, mate, with him. So unfortunately,
sometimes you need a game like this to get yourself back into it. So there's no harm in it.
And to be honest, guys, this is like a big drop from the Premiership, from Champions League. I don't think this team is good enough. They have to balance it out and make it more competitive, because the group was always, once you saw that group, Real Sociedad, ourselves, you knew it was going to be us top two going through. I don't think it's very competitive at all. I would rather see us up against a team where we're struggling a little bit. Look at the Champions League group, better teams all round. And Mr. B is saying no striker to play against the Maguire, and he was okay. So there you go. So it's hard to assess. I do agree with that. I think it's hard to assess against a team like today. And I think overall, even Garnacho, I mean, it's hard for him to form. You know, you hardly ever had to track back. We were just like eating up everything. They couldn't get put into a half, barely. So it was a really hard game to judge. Finally, guys, we're going to go through key moments. Obviously, the goals. We finally broke them down with a corner. I want to see open play goals, but we broke them down with a corner. And are you delighted, guys, to see us scoring a corner finally? I mean, we don't really score many. We've been hitting them short lately, haven't we?
Scored many. We haven't scored in about 5 years.
What do you think about these short corners we've been doing lately?
Now, if we were to continue doing what we've done tonight, where Ericsson got that ball to the low and you got a header like that, I'd take it all day over them short corners. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the short corners, but to be fair, what I saw tonight with that corner.
Big up to Mo before I come to you, Paddy, saying you need to dominate tactically and press. Mark Edmonds here as well, saying hi, guys. Emma saying, I don't want to play stronger teams when we're learning a whole new system. I think a bit stronger than that, though. They were really poor. Mark Edmonds saying Rashford's header, major collector's item. There you go. He doesn't score many. And Big G saying, I'm against long balls completely. I'm about crossing from the byline when teams implement low blocks. So everyone's got their own way. This is why we asked the question, how do you break down low blocks? And the manager's got his own way. And we saw today, it ended up from a corner. The second goal, let's talk about that, because that was Rashford came on and scored a header. I mean, it was a nice move. Once again, Ericsson has dictated everything. And
wait, hold on. You have to keep bad to I'm happy here. It came from Scott McTominay to Ericsson first. Do you know what I mean?
There you go. There you go. Scott's came on the picture. That's another returning player. And he's played it wide. And Eric's Shaw's just whipped in a nice sort of dinked in ball. And what a header. I'm really impressed by that goal. That was a real good header. Got a little flick in it. It got some power behind it. Well done to Rashford. He's finally scored a header.
Position of his body. Position of his body as well.
What do you think?
Position of
Rashford. Yeah, good goal by Rashford it was. I just want to see him do it in the Premiership a bit more consistency from him instead of just scoring against this poor side we played tonight. Even though they played, he got the positions, got the goal, and go back to Dalot. Not a big fan of him. He got the goal from the corner. Yeah, fine, no problem at all. I just want to see. Let's see how we progress because we've got bigger teams in this Europa League now. The Champions League has ejected a few good ones. Let's see how we do against the Barcelona and the other teams, not just them. Let's see what happens then. You know, not the Sheriff for Nottingham.
From what you've seen, do you think we go to Real Sociedad and we have to beat them by 2? I think it's 2 clear goals. Is that correct, guys?
Yeah.
Something along the lines of that, yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be tough going there, but I think that we'll see how that goes next week. I think it's next week, but onwards and upwards, guys. I mean, we beat them today. We expected to beat them, so there's nothing to write home about. Third goal, Ronaldo. Bruno got into half space, dinked it over the cross, which seems to score a lot of goals from. Well, we get what the manager wants from us. We've seen that in training as well. He got into the half space, dinked it over, and Ronaldo got a good head on it. Great save, and got the follow up as well. Just talk about that, guys.
Yeah, well, look, Bruno crossed the ball in. Ronaldo got a good header. He was quick for the reaction, but unfortunately, this was the third time he had that chance within the game. So he's not going to get 3 chances like that again. He'd won the 28 minute, won around the 58 minute, and this was his third one in the 81st. We're not going to get 3 chances like that in the next game. So he's going to be more clinical and put the ball in the back of the net first time round, or at least second time round, and not have to wait for the third in the towards the end of the game, especially when we're playing the likes of Sheriff, because if we were playing Real Sociedad, I bet we wouldn't get that many chances.
I agree. Yeah, totally.
Do you think it's a good thing for Ronaldo to score? Do you think he starts banging in now?
Hopefully it's onwards and upwards, and he gets more goals, and he gets more confidence, and he gets that sharpness back.
I think, you know what, Pat's right about but I mentioned this in the last things about the clinical bit of our play with our forwards. We're not clinical enough. I mean, the great Rashford header, but we've got. I want our forwards to be more clinical in front of goal. And like you say, Pat says, at this level, you won't get 4 or 5 chances to get 1 goal. No way, mate. And it's going to be interesting moving forward. But we've got to get our clinical side right. We need a clinical striker, don't we? We need a clinical striker up there. Definitely.
Yeah. I watched Gakpo earlier when they beat Arsenal. He was really impressive today. Best game I've seen him play. And PSV looked okay. Rookie coach in Van Nistelrooy, someone who's known to us at Man United. What a player he was, you know.
Game up front, Van Nistelrooy.
I'm sure he can still do the business. And last few comments we're going to sign out. Mark Edmonds saying, what I liked about Rashford's goal is he left the space and moved into it, almost as rare as him heading in it. So, yeah, he's added that to his locker now, hopefully. Eddie Football Waffle, go and check out his channel. Always good for a laugh. He's saying, big up as always, gentlemen, and your beauties in the chat. Can't wait for the next Premiership game. Good result, but it was a hard watch. Wait me when we're in the Champions League. And Big G is saying, the only disappointment from tonight is Mr. B not having to eat broccoli. I don't know what that's about. Mark Edmonds saying, Football Waffle, it was nice to see us controlling the game. Easy game, though, wasn't it? And Big G saying United score 4 more goals score 4 or more. Oh, right, to get through. Okay, so we're probably coming second then at that rate. Yeah. But anyway, guys, I want to appreciate you coming on this late. I know it's a boring game, but we just discussed what we have to. On to the Premiership this week. Who we got on the weekend?
West Ham. So it's West Ham on Sunday.
At home, yeah?
Good question. I don't know Monday. It's a good question.
Okay. Well, that's a step up. We need to really sort of demonstrate that we don't get slack from these sort of performances against weaker teams. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget tomorrow, 8:30, we've got another show. And then at 10 p.m., it's the almighty takeaway and with guests, special guests as well. And we'll be doing a watch along for the weekend game against West Ham and a post-match show as well. So from Pat, from Paddy, from myself, any last words, guys?
No, let's keep it up. We're going to get better.
Yeah.
Hopefully now we get a good result against the Hammers on Sunday because it's not an easy game to beat.
No, they're good.
Not an easy team to beat, especially at Old Trafford. So,
yeah, more clinical.
Yeah,
clinical.
Okay. Big up, guys. Glory, Man United. And we're out. Later.